Okay. Students, is the board clearly visible for you? I mean, the notes. The notes I have shared, is it clearly visible? Okay. So, uh, I will share this notes today. Okay. So, I have included all the relations and functions. So far, we have discussed this Cartesian product already we have completed, right? Okay, see, actually, I told you, right, for the theorems and all, if you refer these notes, it's fine. But for the problems, along with the notes, if you feel like you want to solve more problems, you can refer even textbook. Okay, so all these topics we have already discussed. Relation matrices, digraphs, right? How to find the in degree, out degree, and matrix. As I have told you in the textbook, what he has done is, after the Cartesian product, directly he has started with the functions. Okay, but if you have to understand the concepts clearly, prior to functions, you have to learn the relations completely. And that is the reason what I have done is, in the notes, first I have completed the relations completely. So then I went for functions. Okay, so don't think that I have skipped the functions. So functions part I have written later. Okay, and different operations that we can perform, like union, intersection, converse, complement. This also we have discussed. And this theorem also, right? I have explained you, right? That composition of a relation is associative. Uh, this theorem you can refer. Next, composition of relations problems. Few problems I have given. And different properties of the relations, like reflexive property, reflexive, symmetric, transitive, and few examples I have given. Okay, congruent. And we have started with equivalence relations, right? So first, what I have done is I have completed the equivalence class and partitions, right? So now what I will do is, so in the equivalence relation, let us solve the problems of this kind. Okay. See, actually, in the equivalence relation, either he can ask the problem related to the equivalence class or partition. And I have taught you both, right? So if they give you the relation, and if they ask you the partition, first you have to find equivalence class for each and every element of the set. Later you have to find the partition. Okay. Instead of that, if he gives the partition and if he asks for the relation, that also you can easily get, right? Because I told you, right? So equivalence relation, it will be reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. Depending upon those properties, easily you can find the ordered pairs. Okay, and sometimes he will ask the question like this. He will give some relation. Okay, so he will not give the relation in terms of ordered pairs, but he will just give the name, like divisibility, multiple. And here in this example, he has given congruent modulo n, and he is asking whether this relation is equivalence relation or not. Okay, so if we ask whether the relation is equivalence relation or not, as you already know, if I have to call a particular relation as equivalence, it has to satisfy three properties, that is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. Okay, so you need to check for whether these properties are satisfied. Okay, so if this operation satisfies all these three properties, then definitely it will be an equivalence relation. Just a moment, so I'll just start recording. Today, actually, I couldn't use the board because some work is going on in the lab. Okay, so that's why I'll explain through notes only. Okay, so let us see the first question. So now he is asking whether this operation, okay, congruent modulo operation, whether it is equivalence relation or not. Okay, so now before I have to tell whether it is equivalence relation or not. Just a minute. Okay, so here I have to use. Okay, so if I have to tell whether the congruent modulo is equivalence or not, let me first explain you what is this congruent modulo. Okay, so if I tell A is congruent to B modulo n, I can write it symbolically as like this. Okay, so A is congruent modulo B mod n. Okay, so this is how I can represent that. And this is possible only when A minus B. So here I have written, okay, A minus B is a multiple of n. I'll just give you an example. If I write 4 is congruent modulo 2 mod n, is it valid or not? It is definitely valid, because what is 4 minus 2? And n value, I will take it as 2, okay? If I take the n value as 2 and A value as 4 and B value as 2, yeah, 4 is congruent modulo 2 mod 2, because this 4 minus 2 will be equal to 2 only, and 2 is definitely a multiple of 2. Like this, I can give multiple examples. Suppose if I tell 10 and 6, yes, 10 is congruent modulo 6 mod 2. Why? Because 10 minus of 6 is a multiple of 2, which is actually 4. Yes, it is a multiple of 2. Okay. So in this way, that is the relation, that is the operation. Okay. That is about the congruent modulo. So no need to think much. So now I need to check whether this operation is equivalence relation or not. If I had to prove that, I just have to check whether it is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. Okay. So now I will solve each, I will check for each and every property. So in general, as you already know, 0 is a multiple of any number, right? In fact, 0 is a multiple of 2, 0 is a multiple of 3, 4, 5. Any number will be a multiple of 0, right? In fact, any number will divide 0. For example, if you take 5, 5 into 0 is 0, right? So will you agree 0 is a multiple of n? Correct, right? So now, if I have 0, don't you think a minus a is 0? A is some integer, okay? A is some integer. 0 can be written as a minus a. And in the first slide, in the first page, I have explained you that if I have a minus b is a multiple of n, if I have a minus b is a multiple of multiple of n, this can be written as a is congruent modulo b mod n. Okay. So, and that is what is the relation he is expecting. If I have this relation, I can write this as A is related to B. Students, actually, it will be a little bit confusing, but once we solve one or two problems, later you will understand better, okay? But please keep focusing. What I'm trying to tell is, if 0 is a multiple of n, and 0 can be written as A minus of A, okay? And if A minus A is a multiple of n, I can write as A is congruent modulo A mod n, because if I have A minus B is a multiple of n, obviously I can write A is congruent modulo B mod n, right? In the similar way, if I have A minus A, in place of B I have A, but it doesn't matter, okay? I can write it as A is congruent modulo A mod n, and that is what is the relation that we are checking. So this can be written as A is related to A. So now, since an element is related to itself, so here A is related to itself, obviously this relation we can call it as reflexive. Any element, if it is related to itself, so such a property is called as reflexive. Correct, right? Next, I need to check for the reflexive property. If I have to check for the reflexive property, what I will do is, as you already know, reflexive property in the sense, if in case I have A related to B, then what should I have? Then I should also have B related to A. Correct, right? That is what is a symmetric property. If I have A related to B, then I should have B related to A. So based on this, first I have to assume one thing. I told you, right? If I have to prove this kind of property, I have to assume one condition and I have to get the conclusion. Okay. So now my assumption is A related to B, and based on my assumption, as we already know that the relation that we are dealing with is congruent modulo n. If A related to B, this can be written in the symbolic form. That is, A is congruent modulo B mod n, right? And the congruent modulo, as per the definition, we can write it this as A minus B is a multiple of n. Correct, right? And for example, in the previous page, I have given this example, right? So 4 is congruent modulo 2 mod 2. If 4 is congruent modulo 2 mod 2, don't you think even I can write 2 is congruent modulo 4 mod 2? Both are same, right? So if 4 minus 2 is a multiple of 2, even 2 minus of 4 is also a multiple of 2, but I'll get minus 2, but it doesn't matter. Correct, right? In the same way, if 10 is congruent modulo 6 mod 2, even 6 is congruent modulo 10 mod 2, because 6 minus of 10 is minus 4, but still it is a multiple of 2. Correct, right? So based on this property, what I will do is, if A minus B is a multiple of n, similarly B minus of A is also a multiple of n. Okay. So based on this, I will just rewrite this as as per the definition of congruent modulo. If B minus A is a multiple of n, then B is congruent modulo A mod n, right? And I will just convert this into relation. So here B is related to A. This problem, I have started with the assumption A related to B, and the conclusion that I have got is B related to A, and that is what is a symmetric property, right? So based on this proof, I can conclude that the congruent modulo is reflexive, and also it is symmetric. But that is not sufficient for me to conclude it is an equivalence relation. I need to check one more property, that is transitive relation. Okay. So again, transitive relation you already know. So here only I will write, if A is related to B and B related to C, then what is the conclusion I have to get? This time the conclusion that I have to get is A related to C, right? So now I need to check this property. So as I have already told you, so one prior condition I have to take it as an assumption. So this one I will take as an assumption. Okay, A related to B and B related to C, and I have to conclude A related to C. Based on this, so I have assumed A related to B and B related to C. And as per the definition of congruent modulo, I have just elaborated this. If A is related to B, then A is congruent modulo B modern. If B is related to C, then B is congruent modulo C modern. I have just elaborated that. And as per the definition of congruent modulo, I have written A minus B and B minus C are multiples of N. Okay. And now I'll just tell you, if I have 4 is congruent modulo 2 mod 2. Okay. And similarly, I will also tell that 8 is congruent modulo 6 mod 2. Because as we already know, 4 minus 2 is a multiple of 2 and 8 minus 6 is also a multiple of 2. Okay. And if I have these two separate operations and if I add this, okay, if I add this, what will happen? 4 minus 2 and 8 minus 6. And whatever the result that I get, even that result is also a multiple of 2. Okay, you can check with any set of examples. If I have A minus B is a multiple of N and C minus D multiple of N, then A minus B plus C minus D will also be a multiple of N. Okay, so based on this property, what I will do is A minus B plus B minus C, I'll just add this. Obviously, it will also be the multiple of N. Okay, so after addition, I'll just simplify this. So minus B plus B will get cancelled. So finally, I will get A minus C. And if A minus C is a multiple of N, again convert it back into congruent modulo definition. So this can be written as A is congruent modulo C mod N. So this can be written as A is related to C. So initially I have started with A related to B and B related to C. And in the conclusion, I have got A related to C. Correct, right? And this is the transitive property. And whatever the operation, okay, congruent modulo operation that we are checking, it is reflexive, symmetric, and also transitive. Obviously, hence we can conclude that it is an equivalence relation. Correct, right? Students, now what you have to do is you just, I'll just keep this slide for some time. So just analyze this. After 2 minutes, I'll just ask you again. If you have any doubts, I'll explain the problem again. So for 2 minutes, please try to analyze this. Okay. And if you have any doubts, you can ask at that time. Okay, students, have you understood this problem? Should I explain it again? Any doubts in this problem? Definitely in exam, either he will ask you to find the partition or he will ask this kind of proof. Okay, so he will give some operation. Okay, and he will just ask you to prove whether it is equivalence relation or not. Correct, right? So it is very simple. So as I have already told, So you just have to prove that operation is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. That's all. Okay. So you have understood this. Fine. So in the similar way, I have taken few more problems. So let me explain that quickly. So here, first of all, try to read this question. Take 2 minutes time and please analyze this question. I'll explain it. So what he is asking, exactly, you just try to analyze the question. So let me read the question for you. Let S be the set of all non-zero integers. Okay. And A is S cross S. So A is a Cartesian product which is defined on S. Fine. So next, he is asking you to define the relation R. So he will define the relation. So and one more thing, students actually define the relation R. And he is telling you to define the relation on A. And what does the A contain? A does not contain elements, because since you are finding the Cartesian product, since A is S cross S, obviously A will contain the ordered pairs. It does not contain the elements. Okay. And the relation that he is defined is, so A comma B is related to C comma D. If A into D, okay, that is external elements, A and D, these are the external elements. If A into D is equal to internal elements, that is B into C. If that condition is satisfied, then only I will include in the ordered pair. Okay. So to understand this better, so I'll just give you one simple example. Okay. So if I write the ordered pairs in this way, okay. So let me write the ordered pairs like this. One example I'll give. 4 I'll write here, 3 I will write here, 6 I will write here, and 2 I will write here. Students, now I'm asking you whether this ordered pair, is it related to this? Is this ordered pair is related to this or no? Just answer me, are they related or not? Is 4 comma 6 is related to 2 comma 3 based on the question that he has asked. The question that he has asked is that external elements, okay, A into 3 should be equal to 6 into 2. Obviously they are related. Okay. So these kind of ordered pairs that we can include. But here you have to remember, our goal is not to include, not to write the ordered pairs. Okay. So these kind of questions, for these kind of questions, the answer should not be something like writing the ordered pairs. No. So here, whatever the condition that he has given, whether this condition is a equivalence relation or not. Okay. So that is what we need to check here. So you need not to worry about what are all the ordered pairs that we have we have to include. And in fact, you cannot write any ordered pairs because you don't know what are the elements in the set. Yes. Once if you know the elements in the set, then only you can find the Cartesian product and you can write the ordered pairs in A. Okay, so then you can define these kind of relations. And since he has not given the elements itself, you cannot find the ordered pairs. Simply you have to check whether this condition is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive or not. That's all. Okay. So based on this, let us try to check whether it is reflexive, symmetric, or transitive. And one more thing, students, don't think that always this will be an equivalence relation. So blindly, every problem you should not think like simply I have to write it is reflexive, it is symmetric, it is transitive, and hence equivalence. No. Some of the operations, whatever he give, it won't satisfy any one of the properties. Even if one property is not satisfied, then it can't be an equivalence relation. Okay. So now let me first check for the reflexive property. As we already know, I can include the ordered pair, that is A comma B is related to C comma D only if A into D is equal to B into C. Okay. So based on this, first of all, I need to check whether it is reflexive or not. So here we already know that reflexive property is the one where a particular element or an ordered pair will be related to itself. So based on this, obviously A comma A is related to A comma A. So directly he has taken. Why? Because the conclusion is, so here what are the external elements? External elements are again A and A. And what are the internal elements? Again, it will be A and A. Obviously A into A will be equal to A into A itself. So obviously this particular ordered pair will be related to itself. So easily I can tell that the reflexive property is satisfied, right? So now let me now check for the symmetric property. So for the symmetric property, as we already know, if one set is related, like for example, A comma B, if this is related to C comma D. Okay, so this is my assumption. As I have already told you, so if you have to prove this kind of problems, you need to make an assumption. So if this condition is satisfied, then only C comma D should be related to A comma B. Okay, so first I will assume one part, that is A comma B is related to C comma D. Okay, and based on and I can include a comma b is related to c comma d only if the product of the external elements is equal to the product of internal elements, right? Then only I can tell they are related. So based on this condition, so I will take that a into d is equal to b into c. I have taken this. So now, as you already know, if I tell 2 into 3, it is same as 3 into 2. If I tell 5 into 3, it is same as 3 into 5. Correct, right? So based on this, what I will do is I have b into c. I have taken it as c into b. A into d I have taken it as d into a. Okay, so even if I do like that, the equality symbol, it will not change, right? It will be the same. Okay, so based on that, I have just done these changes. And why I have done that changes? Because if I have c into b is equal to a into d, so now based on the product of the external elements and internal elements of this one, I can also write this relation, right? Like for example, c into d is equal to b into a, or a into b, both are same, right? So now I have started with a comma b related to c comma d, and I have concluded that c comma d is related to a comma b, and that is what is the symmetric property. Fine. So now I have proved that it is reflexive, it is symmetric, and final thing that I have to prove is transitive. Okay. So in order to prove that it's transitive, what I have to do is, again, as I have told you, I have to assume two things here. And in the previous problem, it was just an element, but here it is an ordered pair, right? So I have to take four ordered pairs. That is a comma b is related to c comma d, and you have to start with the second one. That is c comma d is related to e comma f, and the conclusion that I have to get is a comma b is related to e comma f. Okay. So let me solve that. So before that, based on the relation, now I can write this as a into d is equal to b into c. Correct, right? And similarly, this one can be written as c into f is equal to d into e. Okay. And now what I will do is this c, whatever I have, f, I will just try to send it to the RHS. So it will be equal to c is equal to d into e divided by f. Okay. So why I have done like this? So here in this first part, whatever the c I have, I'm trying to write it as I am trying to eliminate the c. And why I am trying to eliminate c? Because if you see, actually the final conclusion that is required for me is a comma b is related to e comma f. So here in this one, I don't need c. Correct, right? So if you observe, I need a comma b and e comma f. I need to eliminate c. So now I am trying to write this c in terms of other elements. Okay. So now in place of c, I will write it as d into e divided by f, because c is same as d into e divided by f. So after doing this, after simplification, this can be written as a into f is equal to b into e. And again, turning back into the relation, because a into e is equal to f. So you know that how to write that, right? So based on that, I have written it again. So again, I have concluded that it is transitive. See, actually, students, this kind of problems, it will be easy for you to understand when I solve it in the board. I know it's not that much clear when I explain in these notes, but okay. So only today, you please bear with this. So from the next class, again, I'll start with the board only. Okay. So have you understood this problem again? As I have told you again, so I'll give you some 3 minutes. Please try to analyze this problem again. After that, if you have any doubts, I'll just explain it again. Okay. So take 3 minutes time and analyze this. Okay, students, have you understood this problem or should I explain again? Okay, so now I'll explain the next problem. Okay, students, can I go to the next problem? Previous problem you have understood, right? Okay. And one more thing, what do you feel? Is this way of teaching is okay, or should I continue with board only? Which one is better? Explaining in the board or this notes? Yeah, board only I will continue. But as I told you, today actually that lab was busy, right? And actually from few days, actually even the internet is getting fluctuated. That is also one of the drawback. So anyhow, I'll try to fix this. From the next class, I'll explain in the board itself. Let me complete this equivalence relation in this notes. Okay. So again, from the partial order, I'll start with the board only. This third problem, again, students, this is bit tricky. Please try to analyze this question correctly. Okay, so what he is telling is there are three subsets. Okay, that is A1, A2, A3. And if you perform the union of that, you will get back the original set A. Okay, and A1 is a subset which contains elements 1, comma 2, and A2 is a subset which will contain the elements 2, 3. Actually, it contains even 4. It got skipped. Okay, so now these are the three elements that is there in the A2 subset, and A3 will have 5. Okay, and now he is asking you to define the relation R on A. So he is asking the relation on A, not on the subsets A1, A2, A3. Be careful. Now, and he's telling that the relation X is related to Y if and only if X and Y are in the same set. Okay, so based on this, I can give you one example. So what he is telling is I need to include the relation R. I need to include such an ordered pairs like if I write 1, comma 1, it is valid, right? Because this 1 is in the same set. Okay, I will give one more example. If I write 1, comma 2, is it valid? It is valid because 1 and 2 both are in the same subset. So similarly, I can write 3, comma 4. Is it valid? Yes, it is valid because 3 and 4, they are in the same subset. Suppose if I write 1, comma 3, if I write 1, comma 3, is it valid? No, it is not valid because in this ordered pair, the first element 1, it is in the subset A1, and the second element 3, it is in the subset A2. Okay, so this is invalid ordered pair. Okay, so like this, I have to include the ordered pairs. So here he has given all the possible combinations, and in the third subset we had only one element 5. So I can write 5, comma 5. Okay, and so here we have three elements 2, 3, 4. I can write 2, 3, 2, 4. 4, 2, 4, 3, 2, comma 2, 3, comma 3, 4, comma 4. So here, based on this A1, I can write 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1. Okay, so he has written all these possible combinations, and now he is asking you to check whether it is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. Okay, so based on this, I will proceed. So by looking at this example only, easily we can get to know that this relation is defined on the set A. And what does the set A contain? Set A contains, if you perform the union of this, which are all the elements you will get? You will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, 2 you have twice, even in the A1 and A2, but repetition is not allowed in case of the sets you already know. So based on this, the set will contain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is the relation, all the possible ordered pairs he has written. In exam, actually, even if you don't write this, it is fine, because as I have told you, here your focus should be on proving whether it is equivalence relation or not. Okay, so defining the relation, it's not mandatory. But since we have a less number of elements, so I have written this. Okay, so now yes, by looking at this ordered pairs only, easily you can get to know. So every element of the set on which the relation is defined, 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3, 4 comma 4, 5 comma 5, it is present. And since it is present, it is reflexive only. Correct, right? So for this, you can write the general definition of the reflexive. What is the general definition? For every element X that belong to the set A on which the relation is defined, if that element is related to itself, then we will call that relation as reflexive. Okay, so just I have written here the definition of the reflexive relation, right? So next, what I have done is I need to check whether it is symmetric or not. Again, okay, so you can just look at the ordered pairs. I have 1 comma 2 here. Do I have 2 comma 1? Yes, obviously I have. So here it is there. Okay, so it has got missed, but it is 2 comma 1 only. I have 2 comma 3 here. Do you have 3 comma 2? Yes, I have 3 comma 2. So I have 4 comma 3. Do I have 3 comma 4? Yes, I have. Okay, so since everything is satisfied, this relation is symmetric also. Okay, so here no need to get worried. You can just write the definition of symmetric. And what is the symmetric definition? If X is related to Y, then Y is also related to X. Therefore, the relation R is symmetric. Like that, you can just write the definition of symmetric. And transitive property. So here, as I have told you, even if a single ordered pair, if it does not satisfy a transitive property, this relation can't be transitive relation. And if it can't be transitive relation, then it can't be reflexive. Then it can't be equivalence relation also. Okay. So here, what he has done is he has given one example where the transitive law is broken. Okay. Like for example, I have 1 comma 2. Yes, I have 1 comma 2 here, and also I have 2 comma 3. Where is that? Okay, so I have 2 comma 3. Okay, so if I have 1 comma 2 and 2 comma 3, then I should have 1 comma 3 also. But 1 comma 3 is not present, right? So since this is 1 comma 3 is not present, that is 1 comma 3 does not belong to the relation. So the transitive property has been broken. And since it is not transitive, so the relation, whatever he has given, is not equivalence relation. As I have told you earlier, don't think that in exam just I can write the reflexive, symmetric, and transitive definitions. I can tell whether the relation is equivalence or not. No, sometimes some of the properties will not be satisfied. In that case, actually, it can't be equivalence relation also. Okay, but of course, 90% of the cases, whatever the problems that he gives, it will satisfy the equivalence relation property only. Okay. In the worst case, if you are getting confused, students, this tip will help you. In the worst case, if you are getting confused with these kind of problems, just write the definition of reflexive, just write the definition of symmetric, just write the definition of transitive, and just tell that since the relation is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive, it is equivalence relation. If you do that, at least you'll get some 70% of the marks. Okay, so this is in the worst case. If you are getting confused with the operation, whatever he has given here, if you are getting confused with the operation that he has given here, you can in the worst case you can do like that. Okay. Okay, so again, I'll give you some 2 to 3 minutes time. Please try to analyze this problem. After that, if you have any doubts, I will explain it again. Fine. Okay, so I think I understood this problem. And Maithili Joshi, board is sometimes blur, sir. Okay, see, as I have told you, there is a fluctuation in the internet. Okay, so I tried with Wi-Fi, I tried with Vodafone, and I tried with Geo, but sometimes it is getting blurred. Okay, so it's okay. And one more thing, actually, for 1 hour, 2 hours only, I'm getting this much of fluctuation. How you people are managing from morning to evening? So is the pack will be okay for you? I mean, hardly you'll have 1 or 2 GB, right? So will you people are able to uh, see the classes from morning to evening? For hardly 1 hour, 2 hours only, actually, I'm struggling a lot for this internet. I don't know how you people are doing from morning to evening. Okay. Anyhow, leave it. Have you understood this problem? Can I go with the next problem? It takes up a lot of data. Yeah, that is what I'm asking actually. For hardly 2 hours only, it's getting fluctuated so much for me. We have to get add-on pack, and add-on pack. I think on one more thing, mobile charging also. I think from morning to evening, it won't get, I guess. And if you actually charge parallelly, and if you use like that, actually, it's not a good thing. If you if you watch the videos by putting it charge on, it's not good actually. It's okay. The better option is the student who have good Wi-Fi and unlimited data. So if they could record it in the mobile, in the laptop itself, and if he could share with other students, then it will be a better idea, I guess. Okay. So anyhow, have you understood this problem? Can I go to the next problem now? Okay. Fine. Just a minute. It is getting loaded. Okay. So now, when I have discussed you the different operations that you can perform in the relation, I have explained you, right, like union, intersection, converse, and complement. And complement is the one where first you have to find the union, this one, that is a Cartesian product, and after that you have to include only those ordered pairs which is present in the Cartesian product and not in the relation, right? Whereas the converse, it is very simple. If you have the ordered pair 2 comma 3, then its converse is just 3 comma 2. Okay, so now what he is asking is, if I get to know that a relation R is equivalence relation, so will its converse also be an equivalence relation or not? Okay, so that is what I need to check here. So based on this, so here I have written the general definition of the converse. That is, if I have A comma B, if I have B comma A related, then even A comma B will be related. Okay, so that is what is the general definition of converse. So now I need to check whether it is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. And as I have told you, this kind of problems, just I can write the definition of reflexive, symmetric, and transitive, and I can conclude that since it is reflexive, symmetric, transitive, it is an equivalence relation. Okay, so or you can just, I think it is easily understandable by looking at this. So let me explain this. If I have A comma A belong to R, if I reverse that, again it will be A comma A only, correct? Right. And its reverse only will belong to R converse. So based on this, easily I can conclude that it is reflexive, correct? Right. So similarly, if I have B comma A belong to R, so now what does, if B comma A belong to the R, then what does it converse contain? It converse means A comma B. But what I have done here is, if so here my assumption was B comma A belong to R, but already I have taken R as equivalence, because in the question only he has given like R is an equivalence relation, and since R is an equivalence relation, obviously it will be reflexive, symmetric, and transitive, correct? Right. So based on this, if I have B comma A belong to R, then A comma B will also belong to R, because R is equivalence relation, correct? Right. And if A comma B belong to R, then what does it converse contain? Its converse is B comma A, correct? Right. And that is what I need to prove. So I have just started this problem with the assumption that A comma B belong to R converse, and I have concluded that B comma A also belong to converse. So now I can conclude that R converse is symmetric, right? So now finally, I need to conclude that it is transitive. For that, I have taken A comma B belong to R converse and B comma C belong to R converse. If A comma B belong to R converse, then what does R contain? B comma A, and what does R contain here? C comma B. Okay. So the final conclusion that is required for me is A comma C belong to R converse. So since you need A comma C belong to R converse, to get that, what are all the adjustments that has to be done? So I have done that. Okay. So what I have done, I have B comma A here. I have written it as A comma B because it can be written, because R is symmetric. It can be changed. So similarly, I have C comma B. I have written it as B comma C. I have done that. Next, I will write as A comma C belong to R. Okay. If I reverse that, I'll get C comma A. But the conclusion that is required for me is A comma C. For that reason, again, I will reverse that. Okay. So whatever A comma C I have got, again, I will change it to C comma A. These changes you can do because this R, this is a symmetric transitive. Okay. So whatever the changes that is required, you can do. And finally, if C comma A belong to R, obviously A comma C will belong to R converse. So now I can conclude that since it is reflexive symmetric transitive, I can conclude it is an equivalence relation. Okay. See, this kind of problems, as I have told you, based on the definition. Okay. So based on this definition, what are all the adjustments that I have to make? I can just make it because I know that relation is symmetric transitive. Okay. So I think easily you can understand this problem. Again, I'll give some 2 to 3 minutes time. So please try to analyze this. Okay. So can I continue with the next problem? So, if we complete this soon. Okay. Anyhow, so today I will be sharing these notes for you. I think this is the last problem. So after that, see, as I have already told you, so I have just written 5 problems in the notes. If you want more problems, you can just refer in the textbook. And one more thing, whatever the question paper problems are there, that I will discuss again. Okay, I'll solve those problems. If any problems is there in the question paper and that is not there in the notes, definitely I will discuss that again. Okay, so after that 5 problems, next I have discussed about the equivalence class. I think in the previous class only I explained what is this equivalence class, right? So this general definition. So I will include those elements which are related to the element for which I am finding the equivalence class. Okay, I think these things I have already explained you. No need to explain this further. So I will share the notes with you. You just refer that. If you have any doubts, you can just get back to me. Fine. And this last problem, again, this problem is similar to the first problem. Okay, so in the first problem, what I have done is A is congruent modulo B mod n if A minus B is a multiple of n, right? Actually, instead of that, here he is directly asking you the multiple relation. actually this congruent modulo n, even in that problem also we are checking if a minus b is a multiple of n. So here instead of that congruent modulo, he has given x minus y is a multiple of 5. Okay, so this problem is similar to the first problem. So you can just I think if you see this, you can understand. But anyhow, so I'll just explain it once. So he has given the set, okay, the set which contains elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And he has asked you to define the relation R in such a way that x minus y is a multiple of pi. Okay, so I can give one example, like for example, 10. Okay, 10 and 5. 10 minus 5 is a multiple of 5 because 10 minus 5 is again 5. And even 7 minus 2, which will be 5. 7 comma 7 is related to 2, I can write. So similarly 6 comma 1, yes they are. And every number, 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3, those numbers also you can include, because 1 minus 1 is 0, 2 minus 2 is 0. 0 is a multiple of 5. Even 0 is actually 0 is a multiple of all the numbers. Okay, and as I have already told you, you need not to write those ordered pairs, just I have given you the examples. So all you need to focus is you need to check whether this operation is equivalence relation or not. So for that, as usual, you need to check whether it is reflexive, if it is symmetric, and if it is transitive. Correct, right? So proceeding in this way, so this problem already, as I have told you, it is similar to the first one. So first I will just write 0 is a multiple of 5. Yes, 0 is a multiple of all the numbers, and hence 0 is a multiple of 5 too. Okay. So this 0 can be written as a minus a. That is true. So if a minus a is a multiple of 5, then I can write that a is related to a. Because he has told that x minus y is a multiple of 5, then I can tell x is related to y. So based on this condition, whatever he only has given, so if a minus a is a multiple of y, multiple of 5, I can write a is related to a. Okay, so therefore I can conclude that this relation is reflexive. Coming to the symmetric property, so first I have to assume a related to b, and I have to conclude b related to a. Okay, so proceeding in this direction, if a is related to b, I can write a minus b is a multiple of 5. If a minus b is a multiple of 5, even b minus a will also be. Okay, so b minus a will also be the multiple of 5. See here, actually I have written this in a different way, because see, actually in general, if I write 10 is a multiple of 5, if I write 10 is a multiple of 5, how can I tell that? Because I can tell this because 5 into some number, and what is that number? 2 will give you 10. So similarly, I can tell 15. 15 is a multiple of multiple of 3. How can I tell that? Because 3 into some number will give you 15, and what is that number? It is 5. Correct, right? So 3 into some number will give you 15. So obviously 15 is a multiple of 3. But now here he is telling that a minus b is a multiple of 5. How can you tell that? Because 5 into some number will give you a minus b. But what is that number? That number I don't know, because I don't know the value of a and b. But definitely 5 into some number will give you a minus b. For that reason, I have taken some arbitrary number, like say for example m. Okay, if a minus b is a multiple of 5, that is 5 into m, then what about b minus a? B minus a will also be equal to 5 into m, but not just m, it is minus m. Okay, I think you can understand this. So based on this, I can write b is related to a. So I can conclude that it is symmetric. So coming back to the last property, that is transitive. So I have taken a related to b and b related to c, and I need to conclude a related to c, right? So in order to get this conclusion, again, as per the definition of operation, whatever he has given, if a is related to b, I can write a minus b is a multiple of 5, and b minus c is a multiple of 5. As if I tell a minus b is a multiple of 5, 5 into some number should give you a minus b. So that is what I have written here. That is 5 into m is equal to a minus b, and 5 into n is equal to b minus c. Okay, so similarly, okay, so for example, if 10 is a multiple of 5, and say for example 20 is a multiple of 5, you can check with any example actually. If 20 is a multiple of 5, then their addition, that is 20 plus 10, will also be a multiple of 5. Okay, so you can just check this property with any set of numbers. For example, 49 is a multiple of 7, and 21 is a multiple of 7, and 47 plus 21 will also be a multiple of 7. Okay, so these kind of properties you can check. Not 47, I think 49, right? Okay, anyhow, so if you add that, even that will be the multiple of this one. So based on this, I have done this addition. So here after this simplification, it will be a minus c is a multiple of 5. So since a minus c is a multiple of 5, then a is related to c, and this will satisfy the transitive property. And since it is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive, obviously it will be equivalence relation. Okay, fine. Actually, there are few more problems in the question paper. So in the next class, what I will do is those problems also I will discuss. fine. But in the notes, I have just included only these 5. It's okay. So after that, I have explained you about this equivalence class, what is a partition, and few problems I have given. And this theorem, I think we have already proved this. Every equivalence class will have its own element. If A and B are related, then their equivalence classes will be same. And two equivalence classes, they will be completely same or they will be completely different, right? So this theorem we have proved. Okay. And have written this theorem in such a way that you can understand this clearly. You just go through this. If you have any doubts in this, you can just ask me, because this theorem is very important. Fine. And with this, actually, this equivalence relations, this topic will get concluded. In the next class, I'll just start with the partial order. Okay, so this is the partial order. This is also one of the important topic. So where they will ask you about the Hasse diagram, and they will ask you, he will give in the similar way whatever he has given for equivalence relation. He will give some operation and he will ask you to check whether it is equivalence relation or not, right? So in the same way, he will ask even if it is partial order or not. And as you all already know, if I have to check whether a particular operation is partial order or not, I need to check for reflexive, antisymmetric, and transitive. Because equivalence is symmetric and transitive, but partial order means reflexive, antisymmetric, and transitive. Fine. Problems we can solve in the next class. Okay. Any doubts? Shall we end the class now? If you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay. You can log out now. Thank you. Ananya, sir, in the assignment 2B, the symbol is missing. Actually, that assignment questions Kirti ma'am have sent you. I'll just ask her, okay? I'll just discuss with Kirti ma'am, and we will send you the modified one. So you are telling that actually one more student have already asked me, in the 2B a symbol is missing. Just a minute, I'll just check with that. Yesterday I have seen that. Yeah, actually in that question, we had negation of P ampersand of negation of Q ampersand of R, or Q ampersand of R. Actually, ma'am has given Q or R. No, it has to be Q ampersand R. Okay. I'll just send that modified question to the CRs. Okay. I think CRs, you can just send it to other students also. And I think you already know that, right, students? The internals got postponed now. So when is the exact date? Even we don't know. Okay, so with respect to the assignments, only the problems which you are clear, you can solve it. If you have any doubts in the assignment questions, you can just keep it pending. We can discuss it later. Only those questions, if you have understood correctly, you can solve it. If you have any doubts in some questions, you can just you just keep it pending. We can discuss later. Fine. Yes, there is a mistake in the 2B question. We will resend that. Okay, thank you, students. You can log out now.